Every evening, at precisely 6:45 p.m., Ava boarded the same train. The same seat, the same quiet ride home. Her life was ordinary, painfully ordinary, but inside, her heart carried a secret rhythm that only she could hear. It wasn't the train she loved. It wasn't the destination. It was him. Every day he sat 2 rows ahead of her, head bent down, pencil scratching against paper. He never spoke, never looked around. And yet Ava's eyes always found him, like gravity pulling her gaze. She didn't even know his name. To her, he was simply the boy on the train, a stranger, yet somehow not a stranger at all. Sometimes their eyes would meet for the briefest second, just enough to make her chest tighten. Sometimes, when the train jolted, his pencil would slip, and she imagined what he might be drawing. Was it landscapes? Buildings? Faces? She wanted to ask. God, she wanted to ask. But she never did. Every story begins somewhere. For Ava, her story began with stolen glances on a moving train. It wasn't landscapes, it wasn't buildings, it wasn't strangers. It was her. Her, in detail. Her smile when she read, her eyes staring out the window, even the way she held her bag. Page after page, it was her. He had been watching her too. Not with glances, but with art. With every careful line, he had captured her existence. The boy wasn't there. The sketchbook, the pencil, gone. Just an empty seat by the window. She thought, maybe tomorrow. Maybe he missed one train. But tomorrow came, and the day after, and the day after that. His seat remained empty. He was gone. And just like that, the boy who filled her world with unspoken meaning vanished. Days turned into weeks. The boy never came back. His absence clung to Ava like a shadow, following her everywhere she went. The train still moved, the world still spun, but inside she was stuck, trapped in a loop of unanswered questions. She didn't even know his name. He had been a stranger, and yet his absence felt heavier than losing a friend. One night, as the train slowed to a halt, something caught her eye. On the floor, beneath his usual seat, lay a small slip of paper. It was torn from a sketchbook, faded, bent at the edges, but still clear enough to recognize. It was her again, her reflection against the train window. And beneath it, a single word scribbled hastily. Noah. Finally, a name, Noah. She repeated it over and over, a name that rolled off her lips like a prayer. But a prayer to who? A stranger she barely knew, or a ghost she could no longer reach. Her friends called her silly. They told her it was nothing but infatuation. But they didn't understand. Ava didn't just miss him. She missed the way he made her world less lonely. One evening, Ava wandered off her usual route, her footsteps leading her to a quiet, nearly abandoned platform at the far edge of the city. And then, like fate, she saw him. Noah. Alive. Real. Sitting as if he had never disappeared at all. You're Noah, right? For the first time, his eyes locked on hers. And in them, Ava saw something unexpected. Not surprise, not joy, but fear. Noah closed his sketchbook slowly, as though sealing away a secret. He didn't answer a question. Instead, he whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Her heart sank. This wasn't the reunion she had imagined. This wasn't the boy she had daydreamed about. His voice carried weight, pain, and something darker. They sat in silence for a long time before Noah finally spoke again. "I never meant for you to see those drawings," he said. I was just trying to hold on. to capture something pure before it slipped away. But I can't be here anymore. Ava leaned closer. Why? Why disappear? Why hide? Her voice cracked, fragile but desperate. If you were watching me all this time, if you cared enough to draw me, then why leave me in the dark? Because, Ava, I don't have time. Ava froze. Those words weren't casual. They weren't dramatic. They were final. Heavy. He wasn't talking about the train. He wasn't talking about the city. He was talking about his life. Noah was sick. His days were numbered, and every drawing he had made of her was his way of remembering life before it slipped away. Ava had dreamed of a love story, a chance encounter, a happily ever after. Instead, she had stumbled into a tragedy already in motion. The station felt frozen in time. Rain fell against the concrete, each drop echoing the silence that hung between them. Ava wanted to scream, to demand answers, but all she could whisper was one word. How long? Noah didn't look at her. He didn't need to. His silence was already an answer. Days, weeks, maybe months if fate was kind. Not years. Never years. Ava's heart burned. She could have walked away, pretended it was just a stranger's story, but something inside her refused. Then let me stay, she said. Her voice wavered, but her eyes didn't. If time is all we have, then let me spend it with you. For the first time, Noah looked at her. Really looked. His fear, his pain, his loneliness, they cracked, just for a moment, and in their place, a flicker of something softer. Hope. From then on, their days became borrowed gifts. Ava and Noah met on empty platforms, wandered through rain-soaked streets, shared laughter in quiet cafes where no one knew their names. He sketched her constantly, not just as the girl on the train anymore, but as the girl who made his fading world worth living in. Every page of his book filled with her smiles, her tears, her presence. Happiness is fragile, especially when borrowed from time. One morning, Noah didn't show up. Ava waited, hours passing, panic growing inside her. Her phone buzzed. A message. Just 2 words. Hospital. Come. The smell of antiseptic. The quiet hum of machines. Noah lay pale against white sheets, his sketchbook resting by his side. Ava sat beside him, gripping his hand tightly. His fingers were weak, but they still curled around hers. You shouldn't see me like this, he murmured. But Ava only shook her head. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Days turned into nights inside that hospital room. Ava read to him, told him stories, even sang softly when he couldn't sleep. And one night, when the rain tapped gently against the window, Noah whispered words that broke her heart open. I started sketching you because you looked alive in a way I never felt. Every time I saw you on that train, I thought maybe life wasn't passing me by completely. Maybe I was still part of it. You are alive, Noah, Ava whispered. As long as you're here with me, you're alive. Noah pressed his sketchbook into her hands. When I'm gone, promise me you'll keep drawing. Not of me, of life, of yourself. Keep seeing the world the way I never got to. That'll be enough. Ava didn't just nod. She made a vow to carry him with her, to keep his art alive, even when his hand could no longer hold a pencil. And so they lived. Not forever, not even for long, but long enough to make every second matter. Long enough to turn an unfinished sketch into a love story. Borrowed time isn't measured in years, it's measured in heartbeats. And for Ava and Noah, every heartbeat was worth the pain. Winter came quietly. The air grew sharp, the nights longer, and inside a quiet hospital room, time began slipping away. One fragile breath at a time. Noah's hands trembled so much he could barely hold a pencil, yet he insisted on drawing. Each line broke Ava's heart, shaky, uneven, but filled with everything he had left. "I want this to be my last gift," he whispered. And slowly, painfully, he sketched Ava one final time. Not just her face, but her holding a sketchbook standing in front of a train that never seemed to stop, as if to say, "She will keep going even when I cannot." That night, the machines beeped slower, the air heavier. Noah's breaths grew shallow, his voice fading. "Don't cry," he whispered. "Promise me, when you ride the train again, you'll smile, because that's how I want to remember you, smiling." Ava buried her face against his chest, listening to the rhythm of his fading heart. "Then stay," she begged. "Stay so I'll never have to stop smiling." But life doesn't grant such wishes. The machine flatlined quietly, just one long, endless note. And in that instant, the world broke. No more sketches, no more borrowed days. Just silence. Ava didn't remember leaving the hospital. She didn't remember the funeral. All she remembered was clutching Noah's sketchbook to her chest, as if it were the only thing keeping her alive. Page after page was filled with her. Smiles she didn't know she had. Moments she didn't realize he noticed. Every sketch was proof of how deeply she had been seen and loved. Weeks passed. The world moved on, as trains always do. One morning, Ava boarded the same train where it all began. The seat beside her was empty, but in her hands she held his sketchbook. As the train rolled forward, Ava opened a blank page. She picked up a pencil. And for the first time, she drew. Not perfectly, not beautifully, but honestly. Because this was what he wanted, for her to keep going. To see the world through her own lines. Day after day, Ava drew. The city skyline. Strangers' laughter. Sunsets melting into twilight. And slowly the weight of grief transformed into something else. Grief never leaves. But love teaches us to carry it, to turn it into something greater. And Ava carried Noah with every pencil stroke, every page filled with the life he couldn't live. But she could. The train never stopped, but neither did she. And somewhere in every sketch, in every laugh, in every tear, Noah lived on. Not in silence, but in the art of the girl who once sat across from him on a train that never stops. Because love doesn't end. It simply changes trains.